What was that noise? Alright. Going to games. Alright. Yeah, I'm back in the car, I know. The only reason I'm doing this video in the car is because Milo had his press conference today, and I want to touch base on that. Traffic. So, in case you didn't know, Milo Yiannopoulis has recently been disinvited from CPAC, lost his book deal. What else happened? I guess that's it, really. Those are the two big ones. So yeah, he was set to go and speak at CPAC this week, and that's now off the table, I guess, because of recent revelations regarding Milo's apparent advocacy or apologia for pedophilia. They said that he I guess advocated for pedophile relationships between men and boys. Now, he's since come out with a very detailed explanation regarding his comments. And anybody who caught the Drunken Peasants podcast at the time, which was, like a year ago, nobody had anything to say about it back then. But it's become this huge, big scandal now. If you watched his what do you call it, his press conference today, he went into great detail about that. He mentioned the fact that, look, this podcast is late night conversation with a group of people on the internet, took place over a year ago, and it's been out there for a long time. Nobody had anything to say about it until now, until he started to gain some notoriety, right? So this idea that it's a character assassination, and it really is, because if you actually watch the full unedited version of his podcast, or you watch the comments he made, or the subject being discussed in the Joe Rogan podcast, or Joe Rogan show, he's essentially just speaking about his own personal experience, and not about not about his thoughts or opinions regarding age of consent or anything like that. He's talking about his own personal experience and what he knows to be a fact about intergenerational relationships in the gay community. And by intergenerational, let me qualify, he's talking about adolescent boys and adult men. Now, his choice of words, I guess, in the podcast was probably not the best, but again, he's come out at his press conference and clarified those statements, and made a full apology, saying, yes, I understand it was imprecise language, but the idea that this is this new big revelation, again, these comments have been out there forever. Anybody who's been following Milo for a while knows that he has he speaks about controversial subjects, and he speaks frankly and honestly about controversial subjects. I'm glad that he's not sort of backing down. I'm glad he took sort of a posture of contrition without it really being contrition. More like, look, I'm sorry I used bad language. I'm sorry I used imprecise language, and I'm sorry that what I said was misunderstood, but I'm not backing down from what I said. And he also cited his track record. He's his own personal experience. He has brought pedophiles to justice based on his own testimony, and called out actual pedophiles in British entertainment industry. But yeah, it's just like he said, it's a smear campaign. It's a character assassination attempt made to destroy him while he's sort of up and coming and hitting the mainstream. The idea, I guess he sort of felt invulnerable because he's like, every time you guys, scream at me and call me an asshole or call me bad names, all it does is increase my exposure and embolden me and makes me more popular. And it's true, but I guess with that, it's a double-edged sword, right? So with that growth in popularity becomes a growth in scrutiny, an increase in scrutiny. And I guess, this is now the time that it's going to come out, right? When he's gaining popularity, when he, got invited to CPAC and then got disinvited over these comments. He had a book deal with Simon & Schuster, and now Simon & Schuster no longer want to publish it. I think it's a stupid move on the part of Simon & Schuster, especially when, when the criticism about them choosing to publish Milo first came out. They were attacked because, they're saying you shouldn't give that monster a platform. And it had nothing to do with this most recent scandal. It had everything to do with the kind of opinions and the kind of statements he made of a political nature. And Simon & Schuster said, we're going to stand behind our authors. Just because we're publishing them doesn't mean we endorse their opinions or endorse their position on things, just that we believe they have a right to put those out there. Perfectly laudable position for Simon & Schuster to take. And now that he has come under scrutiny over this thing, the pressure, I guess, is piled onto Simon & Schuster, and I guess they're just like, oh wow, we can't obviously publish this guy. It's intellectual cowardice on their part. Now, they have every right to do it. They don't have to publish anybody they don't want to. I'm sure it's a standard clause within the contract that they signed with Milo. Milo doesn't seem bothered by it at all. He's going to seek out other publishing ventures, and you know what? Kudos to the publisher who takes advantage of this situation, takes advantage of Simon & Schuster's cowardice, and stands to make millions of dollars off of the book release. Ooh, buddy. Quite frankly, I don't think it should bother Milo or really anybody too much if somebody says, hey, we're no longer going to publish your book. Print is dead. Milo Yiannopoulis is going to make far more reach and far more influence through alternative media, through internet-based media, internet publishing. As soon as it was announced, all the comments on Facebook were like, "Who cares? Who cares? Self-publish through Amazon, whatever." But the actual print format, who gives a rat's ass? But it is disheartening because just when you think that hey, maybe free speech is making a comeback, and people are actually going to start valuing it again, instead of valuing offense taking, and whoever's the most offended is the most aggrieved and is the most righteous. It was kind of disheartening because I thought, like I said, free speech was making a comeback, but it looks like intellectual cowardice and lack of conviction on the part of people, especially people in the publishing industry. That's really sad. You would think that you would go into publishing because you wanted to spread ideas and be a space for people to put ideas out there. Whatever. Some stupid comments I saw on Facebook while this was all unfolding. Somebody made a comment to the effect of, well, I guess Simon & Schuster doesn't believe in free speech. And then some idiots were responding, what does this have to do with free speech? The government's not refusing to publish his book. I'm like, you're an idiot. The free speech is not a right that is handed down from government. Okay? Free speech is a Western value. It's the cornerstone of Western civilization. It's the cornerstone of everything that we hold dear. From it, all other rights that we enjoy spring. And people conflate this idea that free speech has something to do with government intervention. It has nothing to do with government intervention. All it has to do with is if the government does decide to intervene and quash free speech, using the power of the state to silence people, then it doesn't value free speech. But free speech is a value that we in the West enjoy because our governments recognize it as something worth protecting. So I don't understand where this logical disconnect comes from, but I guess it comes from a failed academic system, a failed schooling system. When people seem to think that free speech really means that government can't interfere with your right to speak, but it doesn't have anything to do with the actions of individuals or the actions of companies in seeking to stifle free speech. It's all well and good if it's written on the books that free speech is a value that the government is going to protect. But if private individuals feel emboldened to silence people, to deplatform people, to remove their ability to spread their message, then can you really say that it's a value that everybody in Western civilization upholds? No, people will say, well, Simon Schuster has the right to publish who they want to publish and not publish who they want to publish. Absolutely, I totally agree. However, it is very telling of where Simon and Schuster's, sort of ethical position lies on the idea of free speech. A publishing company should be willing to publish, especially one like Simon & Schuster that is broad in scope, should be willing to publish anybody's words. Now, I can understand, a Christian publisher only wishing to publish things that are of a pro-Christian value, okay? But Simon & Schuster is not a publishing company or publishing house that is specific to a religion or a political position or anything else. They'll publish anybody. As far as I know, they've never done something like this before. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have. But I don't think it's a common practice amongst sort of mainstream publishing companies. I gotta go, Amber Light. Anyway, that's my position on the whole Milo scandal that really unfolded over the last 72 hours. It was like, it's weird. He was on Bill Maher, and he was enjoying all this newfound fame, and he got invited to CPAC, and then boom, less than 48 hours, everything was reversed. But I don't think it's going to be a huge impact on him. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a bit of a step back for him in that there's now backlash against him, but his supporters I think are going to come out even stronger for him because that's the nature of his support. That's the nature of the mentality of his supporters. I'm going here, lady. You can go right beside me. Anyway, it's just a video that I wanted to make about the whole ordeal, and I thank you for indulging me. I know that I said I was going to change this format, but I figured it's only a short drive to game night, so I'd share it this way. Thanks very much for watching, and like and subscribe if you like the content. I've got lots of other videos. I had a recent video, I hit 1,000 views. I already mentioned that in another video. But anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at CraigBragg, and I have a politics page called Craig Bragg's Jimmy Wrestling Politics page, so feel free to check that out too. And yeah, thanks once again.